if you're looking for a 6 or a 7-seat SUV that also does have killer performance, the Explorer ST is probably an SUV that should be on your radar. It's got a 3-liter turbocharged engine, 21-inch tires, and a few other incredible features, including massage chair seats, which this one has as part of a premium technology package. Steve here, and before we dive into the Explorer ST, I want to give Formula Ford a huge shout out for giving me access to this vehicle to shoot the video for you guys today. Check in the description below for their contact details. You can find the build link for this vehicle, and you can find out links to the Ford.com and the .ca website if you want to go for this specific model. It's kind of cool. But let's dive into it, have a little bit of fun, and unpack this thing. And I do also want to say I hid an Amazon gift card code somewhere in this video. You're the first one to find it and claim it, and it's yours. And on top of that, subscriber count is also climbing up a tiny little bit. So once we get to 15,000 subscribers, going to be doing a giveaway so a few people can experience an exotic car driving experience. It's going to be kind of neat. But let's dive into it and unpack this thing and see what it has to offer. Starting with these wheels. The Explorer ST has two different packages that are available. So either the low pack or the high pack, so the 400 versus the 401. This is the 401, and it's got pretty much every available option. So it's got the ST Street Pack, which gives us these. So the optional 21-inch tire, we've got our red painted calipers on top of that, but this rim looks pretty mean in comparison, especially when you get into that black on black look for the Explorer. It just pops. Like, don't get me wrong, we look at an Explorer that's in white, in gray, etc. It looks nice. It's just something about that black on black look that just looks really, really sharp. I love it. Now, the Explorer is available either rear-wheel drive in the States or all-wheel drive, so 4x4 in Canada versus the States. So you've got a few different options that are available, just depending on which country you live in. But it is nice overall. And I mentioned this one is pretty much as fully loaded as it's going to get. So along our side view mirrors, we've got some side view mounted cameras, we've got a front mounted camera and our backup camera, so we've got our full 360 degree view. It's available when we get into that 401 high package. It's not going to be standard in the ST, but it is nice that it is available there. But we've got this nice rocker molding along the side there. We've got our forward sensing system that we can just make out. And then I did mention this one does have the front facing camera. So it's useful if you're going to be going off-road, or if you just want something that's got something, I don't know, maybe like park assist. This thing has the flexibility to help out with both parallel and perpendicular parking, which is amazing. We'll get to that one when we get inside. But I love the grille inside of the ST. It just looks mean. We've got our ST badge along the very front of the grille there, and then our blacked out Explorer badge along the very top. We've got our LED headlamps and our fogs on top of that. But the styling is really nice, like typical Explorer styling with a few small touches, just kind of denoting that this is the ST. So it's something different than the regular XLT or the limited version of the vehicle. It's kind of nice though. Getting under the hood of the Explorer is really straightforward. We've got a little lever just to our left of the pedals. We pull that twice. There we go. Now this thing, unfortunately not on hydraulics, but I mean easy enough to set up there. 2 seconds. But we've got this, and it's the 3-liter turbocharged engine. It's going to be standard inside of the Explorer ST, the King Ranch if you're down in the States, as well as the Platinum version of the vehicle. Now, I did mention it for a second there. Inside of the King Ranch and the Platinum for the 21 models, it's actually detuned compared to the Explorer ST. But everything is across the board going to be the same now for the 3-liter. So it's 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. So it is a killer amount of power inside of this thing. And the Explorer lineup does have quite a few different engines available. We've got the 3.3 liter, we've got the 2.3 liter EcoBoost on top of that. So we've got the hybrid, so it's going to depend on what's important for you out of a vehicle. But overall, typical Explorer styling, easy access if we need to top up some fluids ourselves. You could kind of easily check your oil back there if you're handy. We do have our strut brace there as well, just for some added support. Because again, this thing, crazy powerful, but it does have unique tuning in comparison to some of the lower trim levels of the vehicle. And outside of that, nothing else. It's just a nice looking 3-liter turbocharged engine. Filling it fuel inside of the Explorer is very straightforward. So along our driver's side, we've got a little capless system, non-locked. unless you're in the hybrid. But I mean, other than that, it's straightforward. If you're concerned about fuel theft, you could always go for some aftermarket caps on top of that. But capless system, looking at fuel quality inside of the Explorer ST, technically minimum manufacturer's recommendation is just your regular 87 gas. Now, here's the kicker. If you were in just the regular 2.3 liter EcoBoost, I would definitely say the 87 is a safe bet. But when you get inside of the Explorer ST, the horsepower and torque specs that we were looking at are achieved using a premium fuel. So do you need to use one? Technically not, but if you want the best possible performance out of this thing, you definitely should consider using a premium fuel instead. Now, I know gas prices, like I'm looking at a gas station right now, and it's $2.02 a liter. So they're a little bit pricey for regular fuel. So if the premium is out of budget for you, just go in knowing you still can get good performance out of just the regular 87. It's just that when you get into that 91 octane, it's just going to perform even better. But it's not necessary. Next up, taking a peek along our driver's side door. So we've got our blind spot system. That's going to highlight, letting us know if anybody's entered the blind spot on either side of the vehicle. I did mention we've got our side-mounted camera on top of that. And just along the driver's side door, you can see that we've got a series of different numbers there. So one of the cool things is that we could push the bottom two there if we want to lock the door. And then as you can see, power folding side view mirrors on top of that. We do have intelligent access on top of that. So if we slide our hand, we do have our doors become unlocked, and taking a peek inside. It looks nice. But we've got this nice stitching right along the very side there that follows all the way through. Goes all the way through part of the steering wheel there, right along the sides, into the driver passenger seat. But we've got this nice metallic highlight along the door. A little Bang & Olufsen badge down there, because we've got our speaker setup. So we've got a few different options for speakers, which I'll touch base on in a moment. But we've got our unlock and our lock buttons. We've got 3 individual seat memory buttons, so we can have it remember our side view mirrors, our steering wheel, and our seat. We press and hold either 1, 2, or 3 to remember our own personal profile. Nice metallic highlights down below with that speaker. We do have power folding side view mirrors, our base side view mirror controls, window control, and we've got our handle there. A little bit of storage space along the door. As we start to move inside, we've got our Ford performance badge right along the scuff plate there. Really great look. And the driver's seat is going to be a power. So we've got power removable. So we've got forwards, backwards, up and down. We've got our backrest as well as 4-way lumbar. This one also has a little button on the middle there, and that's going to be a hot button press in order to get into our massage chair seats that are available as an option. We'll touch base on that one when we get inside. But taking a peek, so I did mention steering wheel itself is going to be a power telescoping. Along the side, we do have this button in order to open or close the liftgate. Figure out what's going on with our running lamps. We've got the option of turning on our fog lamps and then increasing or decreasing the brightness of the cluster screen. So quite a few options. We've got our pedals down below, and then just to the left-hand side of the pedals, we've got our trunk releases, or our hood release as well. Okay, the first row of the Explorer is really nice. The seats are very comfortable. Oh, this is cool. Really neat. Now, I did mention it, so along our side there, we've got a few different ways that we can adjust the seat. With the driver's seat down as far as it'll go, I've got like 5, almost 6 inches of headspace. So if you're taller, like 6'6", you'll probably comfortably be able to sit inside of the vehicle here. But so many amazing options. Like, where do you even start? Like, let's go with some base styling. So I did mention we've got our white stitching that follows all the way throughout the door, covers off part of the steering wheel, and then even into the armrest. Looks pretty dang sharp. We've got some nice metallic highlights that follow all the way throughout the dash, through the center stack here. It's kind of cool. Really nice. Now, the steering wheel, there are so many different options that are available. But along the stick on the left-hand side, we've got a button to turn our lane keeping system on or off. We've got our blinkers, our high beams, etc. Along the right side, we can control our front and our rear windshield wipers. We do have the option for the Ford Copilot 360 Assist Plus package, which is going to give us our adaptive cruise control. We've got our audio controls, and then we've also got a panel on the right side that's going to let us determine what's going on with the cluster screen. And one cool thing about the cluster screen is that this thing is fully digital, and it looks really, really nice. I love the way this thing looks. It's so cool. So cool. If you want a fuller walk around on how the steering wheel buttons, the instrument cluster work, or how to use that media screen, check in the description below for that full walk around. It's kind of nice. But I did mention it, so we do have a power telescoping steering wheel. It's nice. We've got our base Ford badge along the middle, our ST badge along the lower part of the steering wheel. It looks really nice. And as we start to move across, we've actually got this like carbon fibery type of weave texture that moves all the way through a part of the dash there. It looks pretty sharp. It's kind of cool. Now, we are going to be push button start inside of the Explorer ST. We've got our volume rocker, tuning rocker, and we can tune a few different ways. So we've got our tuning rocker there. We can also 97.7 FM.
Tuning to FM 97.7.
So amazing song, amazing band, but amazing sound inside of this thing. So the Explorer in general is going to have either a 6-speaker, 12-speaker, or a 14-speaker setup, just depending on the version of the vehicle you're in and the packages you've opted for. This specific one is essentially a fully loaded Explorer ST, so it's got the optional 14-speaker B&O sound system. And well, as you heard there, amazing. Even at half volume, that's really nice. But this one has one of the added tech packages, which gives us a larger phablet-style screen instead, which looks pretty cool. We've got factory navigation built in. We've got support for Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and things like that. One thing to note, this is the Sync 3 media screen. So it's on the last year's generation for the model. So it's essentially going to be a wired Android Auto, Apple CarPlay solution. When we get the refresh, I do believe we're going to Sync 4. So we should see that. I'm not sure it's going to be 23, but probably the 2024 model. But it still is nice. It's great functionality all at the same time. We've got our tuning rocker, so we can tune this way. We can tune through the audio tab as well. Or we can tune this way, so we can just do a press there in order to seek if we want to go that route. We can toggle our park sensing system, so that reverse sensor on or off. We've got our 4-way blinkers and then our 360 camera. So as you can see there, so we've got our full 360 view. We've got our front partial view and our front 180 degree view. One thing, I do wish that it would take up more of the screen real estate, especially the 360, but I mean, it is still nice that we've got that available as an option. Moving down from there, we do also have our heated and ventilated first row seats. Inside of the Explorer ST, we're at least going to have heated seats, ventilated seats available when we get into that high package. We've also got our heated steering wheel, our climate control settings, so we do have dual zone climate control inside of this thing. We've got our max windshield defrost. We've got our selection. Do we want it going to our windshield face or feet? We can turn the whole system off. We've got our air conditioning, max air conditioning, and a few other things. And as we start to move down from there, challenging, oh, here we go. And down we go. All right, so a few other things to point out. We've got our little tray there, so we're just gonna pop up, and as you can see there, so we've got a 12-volt power point, and we've also got 2 USB ports, so a USB as well as a USB-C, and then a nice amount of storage from there. Clicking that down, we also have a little phone holder, which is kind of neat. So if we want to, we can kind of just have our phone sitting there. I love that we've got this. It's just so nice and simple. We've got a few cup holders there. And then we've also got a rotary dial. So we've got park, reverse, neutral, drive into a manual mode. So we could change out gears that way. But we do have paddle shifters inside of this thing. So if you're a fan of changing out gears that way, you've got that flexibility, which is kind of cool. We've got our parking brake, our auto hold setting. What that's going to do is with it on, if we come to a complete stop, so if we're driving, we can take our foot off the brake and it's going to hold the vehicle in place. We've got our auto start stop. That's the one that's potentially going to kill power to the engine if we're stopped for an extended period of time. We've got our park assist, so the vehicle can help us out with parallel parking, perpendicular parking, and our parallel park out. But let me show you how that process works. So first thing we're going to do is hit our little P button down the center stack. By default, it's always going to look to the right side, but we can use the turn stick in order for it to look on the left or the right hand side. So it's just going to be a matter of what spots are available. We've got our parallel park, perpendicular park, and then there's also parallel park out. So parallel park out's really straightforward. Like all that system does is just back us up a little bit and crank the steering wheel. But start off with our perpendicular park. So we do want to look on the right hand side there. And what we're going to do, drive. We're just going to drive forward. Here we go. Looking for a spot for the Explorer. Nice and simple. Next up, all we have to do, so we're going to release the steering wheel, shift it into neutral. We want to release the brake, and that's the part that's probably going to freak you out the most, because you don't need to, if you've never taken your foot off the brake when the car's in drive, you're like, oh, what's happening right now? The system's smart. So once you've released the brake, release the steering wheel, we just press the little P button again and we hold, and the car's doing everything. So it's backing us up right now. We've got a little countdown timer on the lower screen, and that's letting us know how quickly it is before the next phase of the backup is complete. But we can see we're getting a little yellow because we're a little bit close to the cars that are next to us. It makes it a little bit easier because there's nobody off to the left-hand side. But if there was, it would back us up, and it would do kind of like a multi-pronged approach in order to be able to back us up into a spot a little bit easier. It's pretty straightforward though. So it's pulling us forward, it's backing us up. I'm not touching the steering wheel whatsoever. Foot's off the gas brake. So the car is doing everything for us right now, which is fantastic. Here we go, backing us up, and it should be a few seconds now. 3, 2, and there it is. So it's that simple to be able to use it. Automatically flips us into park. Parking brake is on all at the same time. So it's that simple to be able to use the system. I absolutely love it. Now, using the parallel park system is also very straightforward. So all we need to do is find a spot to be able to parallel park. I'm gonna go for a little bit of a drive in order to make that happen. All right, where are we going to parallel park? Ooh, some spots up there. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go off lot in order to make this happen. Here we go. This is nice though. Nice and comfy, seats are great. All right, parallel parking time. So, very similar to what we saw on the perpendicular side, we just hit the little P button there. And then, so parallel park, it's looking off to the right side. So we just need to keep on driving until it finds a spot for us to be able to pull into. Should have one here. Where are you gonna go, fella? That's tight. I don't know if you're gonna do, oh, you know what it did? It's because cars are kind of stagnated a little bit. That's not gonna be a good spot to parallel park. So I'm gonna use one of these spots here, either next to this Tacoma, or there's a few cars up there as well. Yeah, this is the spot it was going to try to go, but the cars are stagnated a little bit. Oh, actually, you know what? Would it have fit? No, that's pretty tight. The cars are stagnated. Okay. So I just kind of like lost the spot on the Tacoma there. I drove too far. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go, and it should pick up a spot here. But same idea. We can look on the left side, right side, whatever the case may be. Found a spot. So same idea, parallel park. All we need to do is shift into neutral. Take your foot off the brake. We're going to hold the little P button there, and we're just hanging out. We're waiting for the car to do its thing. So hands off the wheel, hands off the gas brake. Car is controlling the speed, it's controlling the angle, it's controlling everything that you need. You're using literally one finger in order to be able to do this. But as you can see there, backing us up nicely. Here we go. Now it's a little bit easier for the vehicle just because there's nobody in behind us. But if there was somebody in behind us, it would kind of back it up and forward a little bit more as necessary in order to be able to do it. But I mean, a few seconds in, and we are done. It's turned the parking brake on for us there as well. Again, an added safety setting. So it's that simple being able to use that part of the park assist system. And then, like I said, the perpendicular or the parallel park out is equally as easy. Like we look on the left or right side, whatever the case may be. So we want to go to the left in this situation. We just throw the car into neutral, release the brake, hit the little P button again, and what it does is the parallel park out, it's gonna back us up enough, so if there's somebody behind us, it's gonna back us up that teeny little bit, and then from there, it's gonna crank the steering wheel in order to make it easier for us to be able to get out of the spot. And once we're out of the spot, so we're just gonna hit drive, and it's already cranked the wheel, so all I'm doing is just following what the car is doing, what it recommended, and it's gotten out of the spot, and it's that simple to do it. We've got traction control, and this thing also has hill descent control, and then a series of selectable drive modes. So it's got a normal mode, eco, sport, and then a tow mode. And then when we go the other way, we've also got slippery, trail, and then deep snow and sand. So each mode's gonna do something different. If you're looking for more like an unlocked sporty performance, sport mode is incredible inside of the Explorer ST. It's gonna rev up the RPMs a little bit higher just to give you a more aggressive performance inside of it, but it's really, really nice. I love it. I love my sport mode. But it just changes the dynamic look of the cluster when we go through the different modes as well. It's just kind of neat. Now, moving down from there, we do also have a wireless charge pad. So if your phone supports it, it is there. Our armrest, that also does feature a removable tray. We've got a 12-volt power point and then a decent amount of storage. Just shy of elbow deep inside of this thing. So quite a little bit of space, which is kind of nice. And as we start to move up overhead, we've got an auto-dimming rear view mirror. Unfortunately, no way to turn it off, but it is available there as an option. We do have our base vent controls, our climate controls there as well. So our venting, I should say, for the sunroof. Because this one does have the optional panoramic roof. So we've got a control for the shade itself, and then we've got a control for the actual panoramic roof. But, I mean, it opens up nicely, so we can vent this thing out if we want to create a little cross breeze. We can close that down if we want to. And then we can pop the whole, well, not the whole roof open, but we've got a decent amount of space. So single button press opens it up. Should be about yay big, yeah. So about yay big, so it's a decent amount of space there. We can push it one more time to get that tiny little bit of extra inches, so that tiny little bit more space in there. And then just single button press in order to close it again. But it's really straightforward. It just opens things up so much nicer inside of this thing. But it's really straightforward in order to use it. We've got our sunglasses holder there. We've got a garage door opener, so we can program in a garage door if we've got one at home. We've got a business card holder, vanity mirror with built-in lights, and then this thing is extending out to block all of the sun that might be hitting your face, which is definitely a nice thing. But overall features, functionality, style-wise, this is great. We've got a nice naked dash along the very top, with the exception of a speaker along the very top, because this is one of the upgraded Bang & Olufsen systems. So sounds really nice, as you heard earlier. Very deep bass. Tons of options available through the media screen with driver assistant settings and things like that. One other thing is that this thing also does have the option for massage chair seats, which, I pulled my back last week when I was at the gym. So it's really nice. It's so good. So good. So we've got massage chair seats as an option for the driver and the passenger side. First row only, but it is available there as an option. So if you want that, you do have it as an option. We've got lower rolling, upper rolling, and so many other incredible features. I absolutely love that it's available as an option here. It's so nice. Oh, this thing is fairly spacious. I'm 6 feet tall, as I had mentioned, and I've got a good amount of knee space, great amount of foot space. Up overhead, fully upright, I've got maybe an inch of head space, and that's with the seat literally fully upright. And one of the cool things, so we've got a lever along the side of the seat, so the driver-passenger side, that we can use in order to recline the seats or fold them down. So if we recline them, what am I sitting at there now? Like an inch and change. So inch and change roughly of head space. So that's pretty much as far back as it's going to, well, it is as far back as it's going to go. And this one does have the sunroof there. So if you have taller people that are going to need to sit in the vehicle, depending on how tall they are, you might need to look at the Expedition, but the Explorer is still a good option because we could still get it without the sunroof, depending on which version of the vehicle that we're in, but it's still pretty nice all at the same time. It's good. So we could adjust the seat a few different ways on top of that. So we've got a lever between our legs. We can move the seat forwards, backwards, if we need to create some more space for the folks that are going to be in the third row. That's one of the cool things. So the Explorer is going to come with either 6 or a 7-seat configuration, and it's all based off of what's happening in the middle row. So we've either got a bench seat configuration, so we'd have 3 seats, or we've got our dual captain's chairs with an easier pass through to the third row. Which way you go is going to depend on what you need out of your vehicle. So if you don't need the option for 7-seat configuration, the pass through to the back is my preferred method, because we do have a lever along the side there, so we can pull this in order to be able to fold the seat forward if we need to get into that third row a bit easier, if we had the console, or if we had the bench seat, I should say. But I mean, at the same time, it still is fairly straightforward using that in order to jump into the back either way. So we've got that kind of tilt and slide forward seat. But highlights back here. Like I said, this is nice. We've got our assist handles, both driver, passenger side. The same type of highlight that we saw along the driver's side door, that carries through to the back. We've got our ambient lighting back there as well. We've got a lots of storage along the door. We've got our bottle holder. Up overhead, we've got a hook there, our little vent control, and then we've also got a light on both the passenger as well as the driver's side. It's kind of cool. Now, a few other things to point out. We do have a few USB power points down here. So in the armrest, so we've got a USB as well as a USB-C, and then there's a 150 watt wall outlet. So if we've got a traditional wall, like a wall plug, well, not if we've got a traditional wall plug back here. So we could plug some things in if we need to, just with 150 watt max capacity there. Now on top of that, we also do have a few cup holders that we can drop down. So, I mean, obviously if we don't have the bench seat, we wouldn't have the cup holders in the back here, but we do have some down below, which is kind of nice. Now, one other little thing. The Explorer does have the option for heated second row seats when we get into the Limited and above. Now, having said that, you might find that your Explorer doesn't have second row heated seats. Now, that's because there is the option you can get it removed at time of ordering from the factory. I know with just the way that things are right now with the chip shortages and things like that, there are some Explorers that are getting built with that option. Just go in knowing if you want a factory order, you can either get that removed completely if you don't care about second row seats, or you can insist that your dealer make sure that that feature is included. Now, if it's included, you might get pushed out to a 2023 model instead, just depending on availability, because I know they are pushing some units to 23 models right now. So it's going to depend on which version of the vehicle you go for. A few other things to point out. We've got some pockets behind our first and second row, well, behind our first row seats, I should say, and both the driver and the passenger side. And then we also do have, you can't see from that vantage point, we've also got some privacy shades. So I'm going to flip you around to see it, but it's kind of neat that we've got that. So a nice little sunshade there. It's kind of cool. But like I said, the seat, very, very comfortable. It's got a nice amount of cushion to it. I wouldn't mind being stuck in these second row seats for a longer distance trip. It's fairly comfortable. It would be kind of cool if it was heated second row or heated and ventilated second row seats. Here nor there, but it is nice. Now, third row space is something different. Back I go. Oh, hello. Yeah, shuffle. And there we go. So, not impossible to get back here, as you saw. It's pretty straightforward. But I'm going to move that seat forward for you a little bit, just so you can see. So, I've got quite a little bit of space back here. So, flipping over to the side here. So, I've got this seat set up for somebody who's 6 feet there. And I still actually have a surprising amount of knee space. So, good amount of knee space. Foot space is a little bit tight. It would be even tighter if you had the bench seat. But because we've got dual captain's chairs, you can like stretch a leg out there if you really wanted to, which is kind of nice. But the third row seats, that's nothing to write home about. They're there. They're seats. They're not super comfortable though. It would be kind of nice if there was like a little bit more butt cushion there, but we still do have the option for these seats, and you do have the flexibility. So we've got our anchors back here of having the kids in the third row instead. So anybody in a baby seat back here instead. So it is available there as an option. We do have some cargo hooks along the side, a little storage space along the side, as well as a few cup holders. And outside of that, a little storage tray along the passenger side. So really straightforward there. We've got some vent controls over top and a little light that we can control through the back there on top of that. The rear end styling of the Explorer is fairly nice on top of that. Nice lights along the back. We do have our reverse sensing system. And that's going to be standard in the Explorer ST no matter what. It's when we get into that forward sensing system that it is available optionally. But we've got our quad tip exhaust, which looks fantastic. And then a few other things. So we've got our Explorer badge along the side, our backup camera, and then our ST badge along the bottom right-hand side of the liftgate. We've got our rear wiper there on top of that. And then this one also does have the tow package. So we've got our receiver there. We've got our 4 7-pin provisions on top of that. Now, when we look at towing inside of the Explorer ST, it is going to max out at 5,600 pounds. So that's the max you're going to be able to get inside of the Explorer lineup, which is still fairly respectable. If you need to tow a little bit more, you could always look at either the Expedition or getting into an F-150 at that point. It's kind of nice though. But one of the cool things about the Explorer ST is that we also do have a foot-activated power liftgate. Like, we do have the flexibility, so if we look under Explorer, the last R in Explorer, we've got a button that we can push there in order to get into the liftgate. But if we've got the key fob on us, all we have to do, swipe our foot underneath, oh, up it goes. Let's have a peek at the cargo dimensions. All right, so the cargo dimensions for the Explorer are going to be showing up. And as you can see there, a nice amount of space just for the cargo area by itself here. Now, a few things. We've got a removable tray, so this thing fully removable. So if you need to have a little bit more storage space, you get a couple extra inches there. Those few extra inches do matter, but it is nice. You could probably make it out We do also have our tether points, so that's going to be the same for the second and the third row of the Explorer. We do have a little release along the side there, so we can pull that in order to fold the headrest down. And then folding the actual seats down, there's a button just to the right-hand side of the cargo area. So we can fold down the left side or the right side independently of one another. And it's kind of nice. We can fold them both down together, or we just do a single press. As you can see there, folds it down very, very simply. So it takes quite a second there, but look at the extra space that we've got for that third row now, or for the cargo space, I should say, when we've got that third row folded down. And then we've also got the flexibility of easily folding down the second row. So there's a little release. We're just going to drop it down. And as you can see there, even more space. So you need the space, but it's nice that we can fold one side down or the other. Now, taking a peek at the cargo area itself, there's not a ton of stuff back here. We've got some hooks along the left and the right side, so if we need to use a cargo net, we've got that option. We've got these, so some fully removable trays, which give us a little bit of storage space along both sides on top of that. Now, I did mention this whole tray, fully removable, and when we remove it, we've got another little tray underneath. So this specific one has a thermoplastic rubber tray there, but we've got this little piece that can also come up. And when we lift this thing up, oh, hold on. Let's make this easier. And when we lift this whole thing up, oh, you can see, chaos. But we've got our mini spare tire. So we've got our mini spare tire there, and we've also got our little white spigot. So if we ever need to fill up using a jerry can, that's where we're going to make it happen, but it still is nice that we've got so much space back here. It's kind of cool. Drop that down for a second and explaining a few other things. So I already mentioned we've got our tether points there. These are the buttons along the side in order to fold down the third row. We've got a 12-volt power point, a little light on top of that. Now, one other thing to point out about the trunk area of the Explorer, if you've got a power liftgate, foot-activated power liftgate, whatever the case may be, we've got the flexibility of adjusting the liftgate there in order to stop at certain heights. So if you've got a garage that doesn't quite let this thing open up all the way, all we need to do is drag this, whatever length or whatever height I should say we need to, and we've got two buttons along the side. So we've got one for our liftgate and one to lock. We're just going to press and hold. We're going to hear a little beep, and then every time we push the liftgate, so we go to lift it up and down and whatever the case may be, it's not going to go past that set height. So you do have that flexibility, which is amazing, but just button press in order to close it back up. It's pretty straightforward. Now, seat's super comfortable. One of the cool things about the Explorer ST, we get into certain packages and we have massage chair seats, which are amazing. So I'm gonna have this thing going the whole time because why not? You're in a car with massage chair seats? Absolutely, that's gonna happen. All right, and one of the cool things as well, the crazy power that this thing has. I love it. So good. So 400 horsepower inside of it, 415 pound-feet of torque. So, I mean, if you need the power, you love power, this is a really good choice for you. But it's, again, going to be a matter of preference. So, like, the 3-liter turbo is really, really good. Like, performance-wise, it's incredible. But if you don't care about performance, you could look at the Limited Explorer. There's the Limited Hybrid. You've got the regular XLT. So, a lot of options available. But, I mean, you're here for the Explorer ST, so I'm assuming you love the power. Like, you want all of the power. But this is good. And like I said, the raw power inside of this thing, like, it is so good. It's so good. So if you're a big fan of like good performance inside of your vehicles, the Explorer ST, if it's on your list, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. It's like you've got the Explorer ST. If you're looking for something like a little bit nicer inside, you could look at the Platinum ST. The Platinum Explorer, or you could jump into the Lincoln lineup looking at the Aviator. So the Aviator and the Lincoln lineup is the equivalent of the Ford Explorer, specifically like the ST, the King Ranch, or the Platinum versions of the vehicle. So something to think about there. You could get some pretty good options inside of this thing, just depending on how you have the vehicle configured and what your needs and your wants are. Like, there are, like I said, tons of different options that are available here. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that is so cool. I was wondering if it was going to do that. Okay, so I've got the speed sign recognition feature turned on. So what happened there was the speed dropped from 60 down to 50. And because I've got the adaptive cruise control system turned on, it automatically slowed me down to 50 kilometers an hour. It is such a smart system there. Now, that's all based off of a tolerance level that we set in this middle screen, but that's the first time I've ever been driving in a Ford or a Lincoln and had it actually work. Like well, use it because I've never had it enabled. So it's good to know it actually works. It's kind of cool. I like it. I like it. All right. I'm going to turn the cruise system back on, and respecting the rules of the road, I am going to try to turn into the right lane when this guy cuts over and speeds excessively. All right, here we go. It's nice, simple. It's good. Good. It's good. All right. And we're coming up to another speed sign here. I was playing with it a little bit, so I'm not sure if it's going to... I don't think it'll pick us back up because I've got it set at 50. I'm curious what it'll do here, though. So it should say, yeah, so it's going up to 60 here. Will it recognize it? And it's automatically pulling us back up. That's so freaking cool. I didn't think it was going to do that. I didn't think it was going to speed us up as well. I knew it was going to slow us down. But if you've got the adaptive cruise system going and it recognizes a speed change, it'll automatically pick you back up to your speed. Oh, that is so cool. I did not know it could do that. I love it. That is really cool. Grips nicely. Good turning radius, which is fantastic. But the most important part, I love it. So good. Well, folks, that was a look at the Explorer ST. What did you think? I love it. The functionality, like you could probably hear it. Got the massage seats going right now. It is so nice. So nice if that's available as an option. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your social networks. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, drop in the comment section below and let me know. More than willing to talk you through any issues that you might be having. Until I see you next time, though, take care. It's got the ST Street Pack 94.9 FM.
Please try again.
If we've got the key fob on us, all we have to do... Oh, of course it didn't work first time.